As the fourth and final season of The Man in the High Castle. Right now, its third season is in contention at the Emmys. I'm Riley Chow with nominated production designer Drew Boughton, and you've done interviews with us for both of the prior seasons, so let's jump right to season 3, design vision for this year going in, and what was the big set?
I guess the big set this year was we expanded the world of the Japanese imperial authority. We created a big new interior setting for where we took over the interior of the San Francisco City Hall, and we built a big set to basically so that we could create the space that would have been taken over by the new military dictator. So it's basically up the ante for our Japanese imperial world building.
So you were previously nominated at the Art Directors Guild Awards already this season for season 3, and for your entry there, you submitted the season premiere, the season finale, and also the 6th episode. So the Emmys also allow production designers to submit up to 3 episodes, but your nomination is actually only for the premiere. So I'm wondering why not include more episodes, and why choose the premiere over the other 2 episodes that you had previously submitted?
You know that's very interesting. You may be slightly ahead of me there. I think I probably meant to submit more than that, but sometimes in the logistics of everything going on, the documents get filled out, and I'm not quite sure exactly what's being entered. But certainly, the first episode has all of our new sets and some of our best work of the show so far in it. So I'm perfectly happy to be represented by that.
Okay, so the production design categories at the Emmys they're called areas actually, because they're a bit different from the other categories, where instead of choosing one winner, you're just voting for whether you think each individual nomination deserves the award on its own merits. So, you kind of pass, fail, and then whatever gets the most passes will either win, or there might be multiple winners. So why do you feel that season 3 presented new challenges for you that warrant an Emmy for you this year?
Thank you for that question. I think that what we did a couple other things in season 3. We created a big new set for the Smith family, which was a very significant build, and it's one of the sets that I think we're in many ways very proud of. I misspoke earlier when I was talking about the Imperial Japanese Authority sets. That's actually for season 4. So for season 3, we built a big kind of one of our most impressive sets for the Smith family, and we also at the same time built a big set for the Denver Palace, which is a kind of like the capital of our neutral zone areas, and that also was a kind of a wonderful set, and very beautifully painted and beautifully detailed, and in a very faded glory kind of way. And those looks really were a notch up over the things that we had built previously. So we were feeling really good about that, and we wanted to put it forward.
Season 4, so that I understand is in post-production right now. Do you have any involvement beyond the production side of it, I guess?
Well, during post, I have I get to exchange emails with Lawson Deming, which is wonderful, and of course the producers and directors about the visual effects. So I'm part of the group of people that reviews and takes a look and makes suggestions to improve things. So I'm delighted and always really happy to be part of saying, maybe make that little building a little darker, or maybe, just change this little piece over here. It's actually a lot of fun to weigh in that way.
So you've done 40 episodes of the show. I'm wondering, what location did you keep coming back to and just redressing, fess it up for the audience?
Those people who are in the filmmaking industry in Vancouver will certainly know that there is a closed mental hospital called the Riverview Crest Hospital in in Vancouver, and that particular building we have dressed, redressed, and shot and played as almost countless different things in different places around the world. So that is a real workhorse for the show, and really a fabulous fabulous asset in terms of location buildings to the city of Vancouver. So I've worked there a lot.
That space is that it's just kind of free space, so you can kind of dress it up into anything you want. Like I've seen shows where it's been changed into just the hallway of a college dorm, just because they needed to shoot somewhere. So why not there?
That's right. It lends itself really easily to, anything that has an institutional feel and anything that has a governmental or, public building feel fits very well there. And it has some interiors that are domestic and look like, somebody's apartment or house. So it's just a fun place to work.
Now, I'm wondering if there's anything that you really wanted to build, but for budget or time or whatever reasons, it ended up being done by.
Well, there's always something. there's always something more that you want to build. But I was very happy with what we got, and I have to say, just take a moment to acknowledge that the producers on the show and the studio and everyone choosing to support the work that we were doing. We in the third season we were given more resources, more money, and more time to really build out some really beautiful things. And so I'm just I have nothing but appreciation for that opportunity.
Season finale, the last episode that the audience saw, there's that line where the Nazi scientist, he says, over Scoop and Fuhrer, welcome, the gateway to the multiverse. And then we see the tunnel and the bright light and zapping and whatnot. I feel like I've seen the multiverse a lot lately in fiction, from Spider-Man to Counterpart, or I did a Russian Doll interview recently where they mentioned it. So how did you differentiate your take on the multiverse and its gateway visually?
Well, we in our story, the multiverse is the idea, in some ways, the metaphor of being able to choose a different version of yourself who has a different moral profile. And some people, they end up being the same in different multiverses, or they're different. And really, it's a way of underscoring the need to really question yourself about what is your moral profile, and how are you showing up for it. From a sort of a storytelling perspective. From a visual perspective, we looked at the science of multiverse theory and the different kinds of things, and we showed some of that in season 2 in terms of the wormholes and other kinds of like scientific diagrammatic sculptures. But in our multiverse tunnel, we found that what was fascinating is that our characters, who have the capability of meditation and they come from a place of spiritual goodness, are capable of moving between worlds, like Tagomi and Juliana. But the Nazis, because they are devoid of spiritual goodness, they basically use the blunt force of belligerent technology to try to smash through, so that they can literally conquer the multiverse. And so, for us, the visual metaphor that really kind of came forward was at the end of the World War II, there was this tremendous kind of concrete construction Nazi megastructure thing going on. And I've watched pretty much every documentary on Netflix that you can see about the Nazis in that era. And some of the things that were being done with concrete were unique, spectacular, and horrible all at the same time. And so in our story, what is being conceived of is unique, spectacular, and horrible. And so we, in our story, there's this a certain natural part of this interior mind complex that has the basic anomaly that is a portal, if you will, between the multiverse. So the Nazis discovered this, and then they amplified it and magnified it and built a giant evil structure around it. For me, that was a great opportunity because it kind of brings you to a sort of a mid-century, Ken Adam or Dr. Strangelove design opportunities. And, so I was, absolutely over the moon with the opportunity to try to sort of picture that. And so we built this very big set with this big oval concrete tunnel with all the textures of board form concrete and water seeping in, so that when the big lighting effect would hit it, you get all these reflections and textures. And then we built the sort of a Houston Mission Control like Nazi version of this control compound, counters and centers and things, and put that into the space. All of those consoles are custom designed, fabricated, the whole thing soup to nuts. So it was really a terrific challenge and just a ton of fun to do.
The show normally takes place in this alternate timeline, but we have also seen scenes where it's coming over into the timeline of you and me. So I'm wondering what liberties the show takes in its production design when it's depicting our real history.
Thank you. That's a great question. The way we talked about it is our real history is one of a number of different real histories. In other words, for fans of the show, the sort of quote unquote real 1962 when Tagomi and Juliana meet in San Francisco is different from the real 1962 that we will see in other areas. So it's not necessarily the real 1962. It's similar, but it's not precisely the same. And that's intentional. And that you'll see in season 4 when we go to other places. So there is some liberties taken, and yeah.
So the show hasn't been nominated in a marquee category at the Emmys, but it has gotten 11 nominations over its 3 seasons and has won twice. So why do you think the show has resonated in this kind of low-key fashion with the voters?
I think that the team that's assembled, the directors of photography, the costume designers, the production designers, even me, everybody who's working in the art department, and the producers and the actors and everyone really take a great deal of care in really making this the best show that it can be. And it really goes down to a lot of small details that none of us like to drop. And everybody really wants that. And it's a unified group of people working in this way, and not a I wish I was getting the attention, or someone else is only looking after their own department, or that sort of thing. And I think that the result is you get an across-the-board level of quality and commitment from everyone that really lifts the entire project and lifts the entire process. And we are very grateful for the opportunity to practice our craft, and I mean our artistic craft, and that is all of us. And so many of the people who work on the show bring more, and they bring extra to the opportunity because they're just so happy to be able to work in an environment that is applauds and accepts and encourages and is grateful for the work that they contribute. So the end result, it sort of speaks for itself. And I think that there are many shows that also do that, and those generally are the shows that are nominated for various awards.
So now that the show is wrapping up, what do you have lined up next?
I have a couple of things I'm looking at, and I can't say, but I'm really excited for the future, and there's so many wonderful opportunities out there that I'm literally in between reading scripts and having meetings, and it's a good thing. It's a good time to be me.
And finally, I wonder about the personal homes of production designers. Like, is your home all production designed, so to speak?
Thank you. It actually is. It's not. It is not. behind me, there's a painting of my wife, a beautiful painting my wife made, and this is a piece of fabric art that we bought in Joshua Tree. So it's not there's no scenery in our house, and there's no overt kind of style that way. But we use we use our taste and our comfortable modernist sensibility to live in this beautiful California lifestyle.
That's all the time that we have. So to our viewers, if you have more time, you can subscribe to our channel to watch more of these interviews and go to goldderby.com to log your Emmy predictions. So Drew, thanks for taking the time to chat, and good luck at the Creative Arts ceremony.
Thank you very much. It's great talking with you. Thank you.